Hello, and welcome to show number 2327 of Eyes on Success, a weekly program covering a wide variety of topics of interest to people with vision loss. I'm Nancy Goodman Torpey.
And I'm Pete Torpey.
That's how I'm basically ready for any interview, basically. Clusiv gave me the all I need to go out there and make a difference.
And today's guest will be talking about the resources that he used to get himself ready for employment as a blind person.
Clusiv offers a screen reader-friendly online training program aimed at providing blind clients with the skills they need to find meaningful employment. We'll talk with Tamer Zaid, who recently went through the program, about how the program works, the courses he took, and how the skills he learned have helped prepare him for the workforce. But first, for our tip of the week. This week's tip comes from Tamer Zaid.
Be kind to each other, and if you be kind to each other, the other person would do the same. I learned that throughout my experience, working and going throughout my work experience. If you do good to people would do the same to you. So that would be my tip. I feel as if if you do good, the same would be done to you. So that would be it.
I think that's great advice, and advice that we can use in every facet of our lives. But in particular, if you're in a situation where people are maybe reluctant to bring you into their workforce, by being good to them, you can maybe elicit them being good to you and being willing to take more of a chance.
Correct. That too. One example would be, it's just, life is all about, experience and learning from those experiences. And I feel as if you don't get treated the same, you want to treat the other person the right way in order to let other people treat you fairly. So, that's where I get that from. And I feel as if in this day and age, there's many things out there that are not right, and doing the right thing would be what you need to do. So
Great.
Well, terrific.
You are listening to Eyes on Success. Success, 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 success.
Let's start by meeting Tamer.
I'm Tamer Zaid, the current vice president of the Houston Bay Area chapter
Of the NFB.
I have multiple hobbies that I enjoy, including beep baseball and doing pottery as well. I usually do that on the weekend with family and friends. That's it.
Okay. So that's interesting that you're a fan of beep baseball and a player yourself. We recently learned that all of the beep baseball equipment is made just a few miles from our house in a suburb of Denver, Colorado. And we did an episode where we talked to the volunteers who make the equipment just a few months ago. That was kind of fun to learn about that.
Oh, cool. That's awesome.
So I take it you are visually impaired. Can you tell us the state of your vision, how much vision you have?
I have no vision. I lost my vision when I was 9 years old, and I learned how to do everything non-visually. And, I went to school, learned Braille, learned how to use tech, JAWS, how to use the iPhone. And from there, I went to school, went to college, and graduated with a business management degree. And that was it. But during that time, I did discover, beside my blindness, I did have, a slight cognitive disability. It did impact my learning, which did not impact my education per se, because I did know how to overcome that by, tutoring, by knowing how to work with others on how to overcome that. But now going into the real world, I'm, experiencing some issues with that cognitive impairment.
And what are your goals now that you've had some of this training from Clusiv?
So basically, I'm working with the state to get services, and I'm thinking about going back to college to get another degree in entrepreneurship, where I can open my own business and not deal with working for businesses and, basically in the same time deal with discrimination.
Right.
Because I had to deal with that as well.
Right. And that's very common. And we have spoken with several people who found that they had trouble getting hired. So instead of being one of the underlings, they went out and opened their own business and hired people to work for them. And I'm thinking in particular of a pharmacist whose boss said, well, you can't see, so you can't be a pharmacist. So he opened his own pharmacy and he's doing fine. And an auto repairman who, same thing, he lost his sight. His boss said, well, you can't work here anymore. And now he's doing just fine managing his own shop. So that can sometimes be the solution.
Yeah. But see, like now, because I'm outgoing, because I'm motivated, because I'm an overachiever, I know how to do my stuff. I want to go out there and make a difference. I did work for this company for 5 years, and I wasn't able to achieve what I wanted to achieve. And I never was able to work full time because of that. At the time, I did not know I had that invisible disability, and that was unfortunate. I knew of, of that invisible disability after I left, and that was a surprise.
Support for Eyes on Success is made possible in part by our corporate partners.
Find out more about partnership opportunities by sending an email to hosts@eyesonsuccess.net.
This week's focus topic is the programs Clusiv offers to train and otherwise prepare people with visual impairments for the workforce. So let's start by reading what they have on their website at www.clusiv.io about what they offer. Clusiv is the world's first e-learning platform built specifically for the blind community. Our platform is designed to remove the accessibility and training barriers that have historically held back individuals who are blind. With Clusiv, blind individuals can access the same high quality training and education opportunities as their sighted counterparts. Our content is tailored to the unique needs and challenges faced by the blind community, and it is created by and for people who are blind. With our platform, individuals can break through the barriers and achieve their career aspirations. So now let's hear from Tamer Zaid about the program from a student's perspective.
In the introduction, you talked about how you were totally blind since you were youth and then found that you had some mild cognitive issues. And it's hard enough just being blind, finding a job in today's society. But with some of the other issues, it had to be even harder. And you talked about some of the struggles you encountered. How did you first come across the Clusiv organization?
So because I'm an overachiever, because I want to go out there and make a difference, I'm always in touch with my counselor, my TWC counselor. And one day he sent me this email about Clusiv. And that was basically the beginning to my success, where she sent this email and I was so excited. So she sent it. I told her I'm into taking that course. She sent me up and I was like, oh, let me do that. And on the first day, I finished the first course, and it was like the way the courses work. Because you have this cognitive disability, you have this visual impairment, it all clicks. Clusiv knows how accessibility works. Web pages just work. And, in that last course I took, Accessibility 101, you learn basically how accessibility works. And I was able to basically, learn about accessibility and about how to advocate for such. And I was so intrigued about, how companies should advocate for such. And, as a, individual, myself having such, I feel as if knowing the language and knowing how to navigate web pages and knowing how to basically how the code works makes me a power user and makes me an accessibility advocate, where I would be able to fight for inclusion.
What courses have you taken through Clusiv?
So one course I took was computer science.
Presumably with a screen reader.
Correct. The first one actually that I took was professional skills for the modern workforce. So that one, I was able to learn about Microsoft Office and learning about Microsoft Outlook, and learning about how to use JAWS per se, and how to use shortcuts like keyboard shortcuts for JAWS, and in conjunction of Windows.
So it sounds like this first course you took gave you the skills that were needed to work in almost any office environment.
Correct. So basically, it was an overview of all the Office applications, Microsoft PowerPoint, Microsoft Excel, Microsoft Word, and then Outlook. But it was in conjunction of using JAWS and its keyboard shortcuts. And by using all of those shortcuts, it did enable me to do my work more efficiently and be a better team player, in the workplace, basically.
Now, what other courses did you take that might have given you some specific skills to get some specific type of job?
So another course I took was Fundamentals of Computer Science. That I really enjoyed, where I learned about structuring web pages with HTML and CSS with JavaScript. So that gave me like coding experiences, and I was able to like code certain buttons, and learn how to do that with each of the programs. It was a bit difficult, but with the information that was given, it was clear and it was concise because of the structuring that Clusiv gave, because they knew who the end user was and they knew who they were serving, basically. And I mean, I was really appreciative of that.
So these courses are targeted to people who use screen readers and may not be so knowledgeable about web design, HTML, CSS, etc. And they actually led you from the beginning to a point where you could actually make web pages and all, right?
Correct. So it was basically an introduction of using your screen reader, which was really concise and it was on point, which was really, really nice. And you just go with the information and you understand it clearly because of the way they give you the information.
So you were very happy with their courses then. They were very well suited to you.
Correct.
And now when it came time to looking for a job, what kind of assistance or resources did they have to help you find a job?
So with that, again, like with the skills that I gained, I was able to put that on my resume. And I can tell you, it really empowered me to be more powerful and get more, you can say, employers to reach out to me. And because of that, I don't want to land on a job that would be, the wrong job for me. But, I'm looking for a job that would, suit my needs. I would like to go in probably a tech environment that is, away from customer service, and possibly, the same experience that I had with the, accessibility analyst job. Because you're not working with customers, you're basically working with colleagues.
Yeah, it's a little bit different working with colleagues and peers versus customers. And you felt more comfortable with that type of job.
Exactly. And you're just working with the work, with the work on hand, basically, which I really enjoyed, learning about in that course.
Have you gotten a new job based on your recent Clusiv training?
I haven't, but I'm in the process of getting that. I'm, getting lots of leads right now, and I'm working on it right now.
Have you had interest enough from the potential employers to get some interviews?
Yes, I have.
Well, that's exciting.
Did you get coaching from Clusiv about how to have a successful interview?
I have, yes.
I mean, my last job interview was 45 years ago, and I understand things have changed. So it's great if you can get coaching from somebody who's aware of current practices.
Correct. How do I say this? It's not easy, having, maybe the cognitive load, but you have to be mindful and you have to expect what you're expected of. And you just need to be mindful. And that's how I'm basically ready for any interview, basically. And my resume says it all: my skills and my experiences. And Clusiv gave me the all I need to go out there and make a difference. And I feel as if I'm ready to go there and make a difference. And that's how that's all I need to do, I think.
And I assume they gave you coaching on how to prepare a good resume as well?
That I have done on my own. I've learned that from, my college career. And I constructed my resume myself. And, I got feedback as well. So I think I'm all set with that.
So just to tell our listeners a little bit about what these Clusiv courses are like, they are a series of structured courses online to be used with a screen reader that you can take in several different areas. How long do these last in general?
I would say for each program was a month.
And how many programs were there?
I took 3. The Accessibility Analyst 101, the Professional Skills for the Modern Workforce. The other one is Fundamentals for Computer Science.
Great.
Each one took a month to complete. There's no set number of of months or weeks. You can go anytime and review those lessons. But for me, once I finish a lesson, I move on. But if I want to go back and review that lesson, I can go back anytime and review it. There's no limit on that.
Great.
Here's a more complete list of subjects that Clusiv covers in their training programs, including the 3 Tamer took, again, from their website. Clusiv courses teach essential tools like JAWS, Zoom Text, Microsoft Suite, Google Suite, email, and video conferencing. Enhance your occupational skills with courses on resume and interview prep, college readiness, disclosures, and accommodations. Explore career-focused topics such as customer service basics, computer science fundamentals with JAWS, and becoming an accessibility analyst. So there's a lot of selection there. And now back to Tamer.
And I guess that now that you've been introduced to Clusiv and been through its program, that has made a major impact on your life and your approach to employment.
Yep. Working with Clusiv and knowing what I needed to do in order to go out there and make a difference was a lifesaver. Clusiv gave me the success that I needed to go out there and show those employers what a person with not just one disability can do to be successful and make a living. I'm so thankful for their service and their programs they have for any type of disability.
You are listening to Eyes on Success. Success, 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 success.
Now for this week's final item, how to learn more about Clusiv and how to contact them or Tamer Zaid.
So if people had questions for you, would they be able to contact you somehow?
if y'all want to get in contact with me, you can email me at Tamer, Tamer _Zaid, ZAID @iCloud.com, or follow me on Facebook at Tamer.Zaid35, and that's it.
Last summer, we did an entire episode, number 2234, in which we interviewed the CEO and founder of Clusiv, Luke Simoner, and he provided very extensive contact information for Clusiv, and we are replaying that here.
Well, Luke, if people are interested in finding out more about Clusiv or taking some of these courses, where would you direct them?
So Clusiv.io, Clusiv.io. If you go to our website at that address, there's a tab up at the top that says for students, for business, or for government. Whatever suits you best, you can find out more there. We're also going to start having a weekly webinar, which is really exciting. We're going to answer questions. We're going to have some amazing guests on there. And we've got a podcast as well. And so for the webinar and the podcast, you can register to attend the live recording where you can ask questions yourself. That'll be up on the website soon. But if you go to there today or in the meantime, just fill out a form and say, I'm interested in the podcast or learning more about Clusiv. We recently launched our first episode of Ruthless with Clusiv, our podcast. It's pretty entertaining. It's maybe PG-13, maybe rated R. We have some very real conversations, some funny conversations, and it's good entertainment, but with a good purpose and talk behind it as well. And so, all of that is on our website.
If somebody has a direct question, is there a phone number or an email address?
There is. People can email me directly, the CEO of Clusiv. I will answer your email. Not my assistant, not anyone else, me. My name's Luke Simoner. My email is luke@clusiv.io. So luke@clusiv.io.
Do you have a social media presence?
We do. We have a ton. We're all over Instagram and Facebook. Our Facebook, I believe, is Clusiv Inc. So if you Google Clusiv Facebook, or if you go to CLUSIV on Facebook, you'll find us.
And in case you missed any of that in the audio, we'll have it all in the show notes associated with this episode, which is episode 2327 at our website, www.eyesonsuccess.net. And we'll also have a link to the previous episode in which we talk with the CEO of Clusiv about the resources they offer and how the program works. So look for that in the show notes also.
That's it for today's show. Next week on Eyes on Success, we'll be talking about the accessibility of Google Android and G Suite. Google continually introduces new features in their products to make them more accessible for people with disabilities. We'll talk with Jyotsna Kaki, a blind accessibility analyst at Google, about a number of the latest G Suite and Android OS features designed to enhance the experience for visually impaired users.
Thanks for joining us this week. We hope you share Eyes on Success with a friend and join us for next week's episode.
You've been listening to Eyes on Success, hosted and produced by Nancy Goodman-Torpey and Peter Torpey.
You can access the full archive of previous shows, subscribe to the podcast, and much more by going to our website, www.eyesonsuccess.net. If you have questions about anything you've heard on the show or have suggestions for future shows, send an email to hosts@eyesonsuccess.net.
Thank you for listening and have a nice day.